The day Shohei Ohtani hit 3 home runs and struck out 10 batters in the NLCS was a statistical miracle that rewrote the definition of a transcendent athlete. But the real story wasn't the box score. It was the deafening silence from the most respected power hitter in Japanese history, Hideki Matsui, who refused to comment for 72 agonizing hours, until he finally broke his silence with an emotional confession. A terror rooted in witnessing the technically impossible. Welcome to 603 Snap News, where we dissect the moments that silence the legends and explore the technical impossibility of greatness in baseball. The scene was Game 4 against the Brewers, and let's be brutally honest, Ohtani had looked mortal leading up to that moment, burdened perhaps by the sheer weight of expectation following his return from injury. He was striking out more than usual. The torque on his fastball seemed just a fraction off the customary 100 miles per hour, and the chatter was starting. Maybe the injury had finally claimed the two-way dream. Maybe the superhuman narrative had a shelf life. But then came the 4th inning, and the 5th, and suddenly the floodgates opened. It wasn't just the 3 home runs, it was the 10 strikeouts he racked up from the mound over 7 electric innings. Dodgers hitting coach Aaron Bates, speaking after the game, captured the feeling perfectly, describing the moment Ohtani launched that 3rd home run, a shot to left center, as the final evidence needed. Shohei was resurrected. I saw that trajectory and was certain his full recovery was complete. Bates saw the physical return, the mechanical alignment, the healing. But Matsui, the great Godzilla, saw something far darker and more profound. When approached for comment on Ohtani's legendary night, Matsui's response was not one of simple praise, but of deep professional humility bordering on resignation. He initially deflected, stating flatly, "It is simply something only he can do, so when he does it, it is not strange." But then the emotion broke through the reserve, and Matsui confessed, "But now, truly, there is no one left who can even speak on this level anymore. I feel it too." He let out a nervous, self-deprecating laugh. If you were to use the analogy of an animal, he is rare, magnificent, colossal, a presence that simply overwhelms you just by standing there. This failure to categorize Ohtani, this strange comparison to an unnamed mythical beast, is the core of our discussion because it reveals the absolute breaking point for traditional baseball knowledge. Many casual viewers, seeing the highlights reel, will point to the towering 2nd home run, a majestic 460-foot blast over the right field wall, as the pinnacle of Ohtani's performance that night, calling it the epitome of brute strength, the pure spectacle of the unicorn. But that view, frankly, misses the core technical genius that sent Matsui into that reverent silence. It was the 3rd home run that truly mattered, and the professional eye knows why. Let's break down that final swing. It was a 97-mile-per-hour inside fastball, a classic pitcher's pitch designed to saw the bat off or induce a weak flare to the third baseman. Yet Ohtani drove it with power, not pulled, but against the grain, to the opposite field in left center. Matsui, whose career was defined by mastering the pull side, was mesmerized by the impossibility of this technical feat. The 3rd home run, technically, that is entirely because he is Ohtani, Matsui insisted. The inside fastball hit the opposite way to left center? That ball looked center cut, perhaps slightly inside. To hit that far against the direction requires insane bat speed and control. Most players would simply foul that off or pull it weakly. The genius lies in the delay. Hitting a 97-mile-per-hour fastball requires a reaction time of about 400 milliseconds, but to intentionally hit it to the opposite field against its natural spin and location, Ohtani must slightly stall his swing, forcing him to watch the ball almost until it is passing the catcher. He has to watch the ball deeper, almost until it passes the catcher's mitt, just to shift his pivot point enough to punch it the other way. To still generate exit velocity approaching 115 miles per hour after that delay, that is his most distinguishing, marvelous trait, Matsui argued, his voice thick with admiration. We often hear the counter-argument that such a hit must be a fluke, a fortunate mishit that simply found the barrel. But the data refutes this decisively. Ohtani possesses a league-leading average deviation angle of just 2.1 degrees on balls hit to the opposite field on inside pitches, indicating an unnatural, intentional control over the barrel in the deepest part of the zone, a mechanical signature that screams mastery, not luck. This brings us back to the mysterious animal analogy and the deeper rift within Japanese baseball culture.
We know that Ichiro Suzuki, another legend, has openly expressed his distaste for the current analytical era of baseball, criticizing players who sit on the bench looking at tablets and optimizing based on data points. Ohtani himself, naturally, uses the data. Matsui's inability to categorize Ohtani as a Godzilla or an Ichiro finally makes sense when viewed through this lens. Matsui couldn't name the animal because Ohtani defies classification.
He is the ultimate paradox, simultaneously the most data-driven modern player, yet possessing the raw, unteachable physical gifts that make the data irrelevant. Ohtani is not the result of optimization, he is the exception that proves the limits of the analytical rule. The technical precision of that third home run, achieved under the highest pressure of the playoffs, wasn't just physical greatness, it was the seamless fusion of high technology and primal talent, operating at a level where statistics fail and only myth remains.
Matsui's silence wasn't due to a lack of words, but because he was witnessing the future of baseball evolving past his own legendary vocabulary. The biggest question remains: what impossible, physics-defying performance will Ohtani unleash next? And what magnificent, unnameable beast will Matsui compare him to then? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
If you appreciated this deep dive into the technical terror of Shohei Ohtani, please like this video, share it with fellow baseball fans, and absolutely subscribe to 603 Snap News for more unfiltered analysis of the game's greatest moments.